on, guys? Seth here. Just got this in yesterday. This is it's not a real Fox, it's a knockoff. I knew that going into it, so, I knew what I was getting. It was about $25, and then, whatever the shipping was. So it was about a $30 knife. You can see the paint kind of came off when I did my sharpening process on it. But as I've been saying, I'm not buying these knives because they're pretty. I'm buying them because they're functional weapons, and it doesn't look too bad. Plus, with use, if I was ever going to use this thing to, cut anything with, it's going to chip off anyway or scuff off. I don't like this one as much as I do my Spyderco Carahawk clone or knockoff, and I'll get into that. The first thing is the wave feature doesn't deploy as easily. You have to really, when it's in your pocket, you really have to turn your hand this way and just really, really aim at your pocket. Whereas the Spyderco, if you just pull it up straight, it's going to deploy because the wave is kind of further back instead of forward, so you really got to twist to get it to deploy. So that's my first complaint. I figured it being a knockoff. Ken, don't you start laughing at me. But there's no threads on this side of the scales. So I had to get the old Gorilla Glue out and my precision screwdriver, weld it on there, but it's secure. It's not going anywhere. So that was me trying to pick it up. And of course, if you, like I said before, if you really, get a good grip and you just give it all you got and pull back, it's going to break off. But what it's meant for, just putting it in your pocket, it's good to go. The ring is, it's not, it's one piece. It's different than the Spyderco. Whereas it's separated. Some people may like it. I'm just not really a fan of it. It's smaller, so it feels like it's stuck on your finger. Whereas the Spyderco, you got room to maneuver around inside the ring. I had to. I spent more time doing work on this one than I did on that one. This one required a lot of stuff for me to do. It did not come sharp at all, but I ended up getting it sharper than the Spyderco because the blade's a little bit longer. I had more room to work with on my sander. Whereas with this one, the blade is very short, and I had less room to maneuver. Still shaves, it's still, Seth sharp. This one just got a little bit sharper. So for now, let me put this out of the way. I got this because I wanted to basically test out a Fox knife before I pulled the trigger on a real one. As they are, pretty expensive for a karambit. But anyway, I don't like line locks. So that was the other thing I had to work on. When I first got it, it barely moved over. Like when the knife deployed, it was way over here on the left side. So simple fix, I took a butter knife, put it down in there, and bent the hell out of it until it, had more of a bend. It would actually fail before I did my little rig on it. The way I tested it was I took a towel and I put it on my kitchen counter and I held it like this, so if the blade flew back, my fingers were protected. So I kind of tapped it, it didn't fail, and then I gave it a little bit harder tap and then it failed. And I repeated this a few times just to make sure it wasn't a fluke, and it kept, the line lock failed. So I did what I did, I bent it and I tested it again with the same amount of force, and it stayed open. So that had to be fixed. It doesn't feel as good in the hand with the ring, using the ring as the Spyderco does. Maybe it's just a different knife, and I've only been playing with that one, so maybe I just have to get used to this different knife. But the way you have to hold this one is like that. And I know you're not supposed to put your finger that far at the ring, but I don't know. It just feels comfortable on the Spyderco. I didn't necessarily want camouflage. I didn't just say, hey, I'm looking for a camouflage knife. It was the only one that I saw that was a Fox knockoff for the price and local. Sure, you can find Chinese copies that come from China. Obviously, they come from China. But they ship from China, is what I was trying to say. And I didn't want to wait a friggin' month to get my new toy. Of course, it's not a toy, I know that. And one thing I wish they wouldn't do on these, it's not okay, but it's more acceptable to like steal the design. But why put the name on there? We know it's not a Fox. Why put a brand on there that is not what it is, and then you say made in Italy? It's not made in Italy. It's made in China. It's a Chinese copy. So why not just sell it for what it is? At least the guy was honest, and he said, Fox, clone, replica, whatever he had it listed as. So, as I said, I knew what I was getting. I believe the blade was listed as, trying to think of what kind of steel it is. Let's see here. I'm sure that whatever they got on there is not accurate, since it's not even the same brand. It gives some kind of number. I can't read it because it's kind of hard to read it. But basically, it's stainless steel. It's probably 440. I really don't know. Doesn't feel like 440, but it may be VG10. I don't know. Or AUS 8. It's probably the AUS 8. Anyway, took a great edge. I put it on the work sharp, freehand. I don't use the guides, I use it freehand. So I use the green belt, which is the lowest grit, to just, basically get a starter edge going here. And then I use the red one, smooth it out a little bit more. Then I use the purple one, which is equal to a 6,000 grit. And that's what brought the blade, to razor sharpness. And then I did my finale on it. I got the big sander out, and I put the strop on, some honing compound, and then it just became crazy sharp. So that's about it, guys. I have a few more knives coming in. I ordered an M-Tech stiletto just for shits and giggles. It was only like $8. I mean, I'm gonna get this knife collection going. If you got any questions, just leave me a comment. As far as my recommendation, if you can find one, this is the only one I could find on eBay that was like this. But if you want to get it, just be prepared. You will have to use glue or some kind of epoxy to weld it or seal it to the other side if you want to change the clip. Be aware of the liner lock, because it will take some adjustment. And also, I had to adjust this. Like, the blade was super, super tight and stiff. So I gave it just a little bit of a twist just to loosen up a little bit. Looking at it, you think that the thumb hole wouldn't work too well, but it actually works very, very, very easily. In fact, you don't even need to use it. You can just put your finger on the blade itself right here, and it opens up. Once you adjust this. So, it's a decent little knife. Just realize it is what it is. It's a knockoff. I may get a Fox, a legit Fox later. But for now, this is a fun little toy. Fun little pocket knife. It also has a way to deploy it right there, but it stops. That's one thing I forgot to mention. When you're doing the wave, not only do you have to really turn to the side, you have to give it some force, because the blade will stop somewhere in there, and you'll be going to grab it like this, and you could possibly come back down and close the knife on your hand. So I don't think it's as safe as the Spyderco Carahawk design. I don't. And if you look at the wave on it, it's really aggressive. You know, anywhere you pull this out of your pocket, it's gonna snag something. And I don't know. I really like my fake Carahawk here. It's a nice little piece. But, you know, you gotta have more than one. So, there it is, guys. The Fox replica. I think this is a knockoff of the 478, 479, something or other. That's it. You got any questions? Like I said, leave them in the comments. I'll be sure to answer you. You guys have a great one. Peace, to say my name. We'll catch you later.